everybody. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations, and we are going to do another little entry in our watercolor journals. So this one, I guess really it works on two things. We're going to be focusing on, I'm using a number 8 watercolor brush. I am just learning numbers. Luckily, it's written on there. So little number 8 round watercolor brush. And so we're learning kind of two things here. One, how to be able to pull the watercolor, the pigments, into water on our page. And then once that's dry, we're going to learn how to be able to use the brush from the tip to the squish to the up. So using the brush to be able to create shapes. We're going to focus on a leaf, but that's kind of where we're going. So I'm going to spritz up my watercolors that I have in front of me. Really, I'm just going to need a green and maybe like a pinky kind of tone. So you get to do whatever colors really you want. Really basic, obviously. But I'm going to get them spritzed up so that they're kind of ready to go. And then we'll give this one a try. It's about the water and the brush work a little bit today. So it's going to be fun, and it should turn out cute. I'm thinking this is a cool one, that when we get this one working for us, we can do some cool cards with this. This would be a really lovely, sweet little one to be able to front on some gift cards and things and tags if we want to. So there's a bonus at the end. Okay, so I've taped off using a little bit of dollar store washi tape, just so that I have a nice border on my page. And I have a little bit of a tray. I think that's still in there. Up ahead, I'm just going to be mixing up. I'm thinking just a nice soft little pink. So I've got a pink in my palette here. I just want to get enough of this. And I'm thinking maybe not quite as dark as I want. So I may take just a little tinge of a red in there just to brighten it up a little bit. And I have a lid. Now what I've done, is I've gone through everything to look for a lid that's going to give me some room around the rim. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to apply my paint to the rim. Now you can see that it's kind of resisting. So I'm just going to keep putting it on. And I'm going to drop it down onto my page. And then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to add some more and add it some places that I'm missing. And that's okay if I don't get it everywhere. That'll work fine. Okay. So what I want to do, this is the paint that I'm going to use. So I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to go, so I have a rinse water and then a clear final water and then just a little cloth off here. So I'm just thinking that one little blob of paint there is just a little more paint than I need, I think. Well, you know what? Let's just go for it. So I want to get a little bit of water and I want to put it off to the side of that rim, and then I want to touch into the rim. So you see how that blooms out? And I'm going to want to do that kind of on the other side. And just let the watercolor do what it does. So this is the part that we're going to have to let dry, obviously, because it starts getting a little too wet. So, and I'm just going to kind of go around the whole piece doing that. See, that was a big blob. I wonder if I can take some of that in the other side. Perfect. So I'm just going to go and continue doing this all the way around so that I have it all the way around my entire circle. And then I need to let this dry, because anything else that I would add to this would start to bleed into it, and I don't want that. So know that your watercolors dry a little bit lighter than when they're wet on the page. So if you want to pick up a bit of paint and drop it in elsewhere, do it where you have lots of water. And I'm just going to continue, and then we'll be back when it's all dry. Now, as luck would have it, this has definitely had an opportunity to dry because my camera ran out of power, and I've waited all night. So I've mixed up a little bit of a green color. I don't know if you guys can see that. It was just a mixture of a couple. One was too bright, one was too dark. You know what? Personal choice, personal preference. And what I want to do is add some leaves. But I want to, here's a little bit of the technique. So I want a little bit of a point. So the idea is I'm going to touch down with the point, drag it forward a little bit, squish down, and then lift up so that I get a point on each end. That's the theory. So pushing down, lifting up. That's a good one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that again. I don't think I can talk and do it at the same time though. So we're just dragging that tip a little bit, squishing down, and then lifting up and dragging the tip a little bit. And I just spilled my water. Now I am ultimately as well, just small little water cleanup break, move that out of the way. I am ultimately going to do the same thing on the inside as well. That was awful. Better. So you can see how much paler it is when we do it over the existing watercolor versus when we're able to just do it around. But I can go back and I can add more paint anywhere that I think, oh, my leaf was a little too pale. Okay, so I'm going to continue adding my leaves that way. And then I'm not using a lot of paint. I think I'll be ready for the next step after that. All right. Now what I want to do is I just want to add a little bit of sort of berries. And just for a little contrast, well, because with pink, I did a little bit of a mauve. So I'm still staying in soft tones. And here I want to use that very, very tiny tip. And just touch down here and there, where I've got kind of a little bit of an opening to be able to add some of those little berries in. Just for a little bit of contrast. Now, obviously, yours are going to look very different depending upon the colors that you chose. You could, for your florals, even drop in an extra color as it's still wet even, so that you've got, you know, the multi-tone florals, if you choose. So know that every time that you do this, you can create a completely different look. But you know, the idea here that we're practicing making the paint move that's already been laid down on our watercolor. And with the leaves, we're practicing playing with using the brush in different ways, that it's using the point, then pushing down to create width, and then using the point again. So we've got a variety of tools and not just the paint that we can use to be able to create different looks. Now, the satisfying part is removing some of our tape, and I've just been enjoying adding a little bit of a border on the edging of my paintings just to add a little bit of a frame. Now, you could, of course, with this, choose to add more detail. You could go in and drop additional color on here. You can overlay some of the dark pink so that you could add in some, center darkness coming out with some of the pink. If you chose, you could add like a yellow center. You could add, take your pen and drop in just a little bit of pestles in there or little dots in the center to highlight the beginning of it. There's so much more that you could choose to do with this. You could go and outline every flower if you wanted to be very specific, but I'm trying to learn to paint a little looser, so I'm leaving it. But you could write the word joy in there. If you were doing this as a card, you could put the person's name in the center or a sentiment. So many things. All right. So there we go, guys. We've got another little painting done in our painting journal that we're just practicing different skills. You can do this on any scale. I started with just using a cup. You could use this size cup and make it bigger. You could use, a big bowl or plate to give you the outline of the circle, dropping in the paint that you're going to be able to pull from as you're doing this. So again, don't have to do it on the small scale, but I'm just kind of the opinion, if I can't do it small, it's going to be more challenging big. So it gives me a place to start. Any of these I could make into a bigger, more involved watercolor, but then I have more paper to be able to fill, and that sometimes feels a little bit more intimidating than just a little one. Let me know about this one. Let me know if you're going to give it a try, as always. And, hope you join me on the next one as we kind of learn some of these techniques together and some of the things that I'm trying out. I'm having fun. Hope you guys are enjoying too. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.